Hello everyone, my name is Neve and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be recapping and rambling all about Heartbreak High Season 2. Season 3 is finally about to be upon us and I love this show. I love the characters, I love the fashion, I love the hair, I love the makeup. So this video is pretty much just an outlet for me to yap about something I enjoy, and if even just one person watches this video, it'll be a successful endeavor. I have a microphone, a dream, and hundreds of low quality screen grabs. So let's meet our characters, shall we? This is an ensemble cast, but we definitely have a main character, and that is one Emery Whitea, which just the name Emery, not Anne-Marie, Emery, said in an Australian or New Zealand accent, it just hits. It's so good, it's so satisfying. This girl literally can never catch a break ever. She lives with her mother, younger brother, and sister. We get little cameos of them, like her brother throwing a slice of cheese at her. They're a fun bunch and I would feel safe if her mother was on the scene. Amory's bestie is Harper. She makes some questionable decisions, but I wouldn't say she's a bad person, and that can apply to many of these characters. She previously lived with her father until his drug use got extremely out of control, and now she is living with Amory and her family. Harper and Amory were in a friend group with Missy and Sasha. Now Sasha, she is made out to be the worst character, but that is just ludicrous when you consider the crimes of some of the other characters. Woke, but not really, because she's actually a little bit problematic and hypocritical, but she has fun hair. Season 1 she was pink, season 2 she has blue happening. Sasha and Missy are exes, but they did a lot of work after their breakup to remain friends, even though Sasha trampled on Missy's heart really badly. Now speaking of Missy, this is an icon and she has the privilege of being my favorite character. She is confident, sporty, and she just keeps it real. We definitely got to see a lot more of her in season 2, which I thoroughly enjoyed. She is indigenous, as is Malachi, which causes them to bond, and they have an amazing brother-sister type friendship. Malachi, when I watched season 1 for the first time, that's the biggest cutie patootie I've ever seen in my life. He needs to be protected. He was the new kid in season 1 and he definitely had a rough go of things. He was getting teased, he got assaulted, he was struggling with identity and who he is, which is still happening in season 2. Positive note for Malachi, he has an amazing collection of funky jumpers. Then we have Darren. Darren is a user of they them pronouns. They were living with their mother and the mother's boyfriend in season 1 until they low-key got kicked out and were forced to live with their father. Darren became close with Amory after she was shunned in season 1 from her friend group, but Darren's true bestie is Quinny. They lovingly call each other Jellyfish. Quinny is fun, colorful, wholesome. Both the character and the actress are autistic, so that is represented in the show. Quinny lives with her 2 dads and she has dreams of being an author inspired by her favorite books, Angelina of the Underworld. There was romance between Quinny and Sasha in season 1, but that's over now. Cash, this is a baby. He is a former Eshe. He has definitely made some poor decisions, but he has a good heart, which again, that can apply to many young people. He started a romance with Darren in season 1 and that is still ongoing. Cash lives with his nan, his duck Darude, and occasionally Roger, Nan's man. Dusty, I hate this man. He just comes across as so sleazy to me. In season 1 he was the mastermind behind a false accusation against a teacher. Thankfully he is pretty irrelevant in season 2, which I think is deserved justice. Then we have Dusty's buddies Spider and Ant. Spider, aka Spencer, oh my goodness, in season 1 he is unbearable and it's just like Doon Devale. He does grow on me in season 2. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Spider is typical I'm a guy and I can't say anything or the feminists will get me. Spider's bestie is Ant. I want to say is goofy sweetheart himbo, but then when you look at who he's aligned with and the things he does, yeah, he's actually not harmless and he could definitely do with doing better. 2 other characters that are not in this picture but are important. Number 1, Principal Woods, aka Woodsy, the principal of the school all these students attend. I love this diva. She hails from New Zealand and she has a dog called Joan of Bark. She genuinely cares about all these kids and wants them to succeed. And then we have Miss Oba, aka Jojo, who is the English teacher turned SLT teacher, and I would say she's also a good person. Other new characters I will introduce as they get introduced. So now that we've met everyone, what's this show all about? What they be getting up to? To set the scene, Heartbreak High is set at Hartley High School. Season 1 begins with the discovery of the map, basically a map in the old stairwell that besties in crime Harper and Amory made depicts all the relationships and connections between all of the students. Upon the discovery of this map, Principal Woods is thinking these children are out of control and they do not respect each other, so she gathers everyone on the map plus English teacher Jojo to now run a sexual literacy tutorial. And Darren, quick as ever, says, "So we're your The kids are not impressed with this situation as they think this is just going to be another crusty, outdated sexual education class, and it's also being run on their own time. It's all map creator Anne-Marie's fault as she took the fall. They don't know Harper was involved. We all hate Anne-Marie, boo Anne-Marie. This map and the SLT classes are what bring all our students together and what connects them. You should definitely watch season 1 to see the full deets. New student Malachi is in SLT, but how did he have time to get put on the map? He actually didn't. It was racism, and he stays in the class because he has a fat crush on Emery. And we just follow them through their school life, their relationships with each other, and the other shenanigans they get up to. It's amazing. Season 2, episode 1, we open with the school on fire and Harper and Emery are inside. But first, we have to jump back 2 months earlier to the start of term 2. Anne-Marie announces she has secured the role of Harper's bodyguard and best friend you have ever seen, and she gives her a little back-to-school gift of some handmade pepper spray. Then we have a scary moment. Harper thinks she sees Chuck. I should have introed Chuck, leader of the Eshays that Cash was involved with. Bad guy. Watch season 1. Harper thinks she sees Chuck on the train platform, but he's not actually there. It's just the stress of everything getting to her. At school, Harper and Amory meet up with Quinny and Darren, and we see hints that Quinny is struggling to adjust to the new flow of things. Malachi arrives at school with Missy, one of my favorite duos. They were having some DMCs over the holidays, but at this moment we do not know what they were actually discussing, but we will find out later. And we get some Missy lore. She's really into mythology at the minute, as it is sick, and that also comes back later. Sasha is campaigning under the, I need to make sure I get this right, Queer Socialist Marxist Climate Crusaders Against Littering Party. She stands with the bimbos, himbos, and thembos. Through Spider, we find out that Dusty has transferred schools, and he very much implies this is Amory and Harper's fault. Amory is not going to let that slide, so she whips out the pepper spray. Unfortunately, it makes no impact. But what does make impact is Spider's body crashing into Zoe's model after Amory pushes him over. Ant also gets tangled up in this fall, causing him to drop his gummies. 5-second rule. After scolding both Amory and Harper for the little scuffle, Woodsy checks in with Harper. She insists she's great, she's fine, even though she is going through the process of emancipating from her father and preparing for the upcoming trial against the Eshays/Cash. Season 1, get into it. Ant is feeling the effects of his gummies and realizing he is a bit sleazy when it comes to women, so a talking scissors lets him know he knows what he needs to do. Class photo time in the hall. We meet new student Rowan. We often just see him alone with his younger brother, and Rowan has chose to wear a vest for the first day of school, so everyone just starts brutally slagging him. To gain control back over the students, a starting gun is fired. Who fired this? Head of PE, Timothy Voss, absent for the past 10 weeks because he either joined a Russian cult or started an OnlyFans. And then we get our first season 2 appearance of this diva who is credited as the fully gacked map girl, and she proclaims, "Oi, Anthony Vaughn's chopping his off in the quad." Voss tackles him and he ends up in the nurse's office. Jojo and Woodsy mention SLTs, which triggers both Spider and Voss. Voss claiming Hartley is now a woke snowflake nightmare, so he's gonna come up with his own idea to right the situation. Back in the hall, Harper can't find her bag. She's been robbed. Woodsy assigns Malachi to give a school tour and do some new student bonding with Rowan. Malachi ends up inviting Rowan to tonight's party, newbie solidarity. In SLTs, they're gonna be doing some art to express their feelings. Spider protests the class as a tribute to Anthony Vaughn, and he urges the other guys in there to walk out with him if they're actually men, and then they proceed to do stacks on Tom. There was no actual plan, they just wanted to be disruptive menaces. Malachi and Amory have their first real interaction, but she tells him she really just wants to focus on Harper right now, which he completely understands, but he's also just so gorgeous that they end up in the stairwell. Harper's bag is found, yay, but unfortunately there's a dead ibis on it. Harper is convinced it's Chuck. Amory thinks it's just Spider. That night at the party, we see Quinny again struggling with the new dynamic. She has also brought the dead ibis in her bag so that its final resting place can be by the ocean. Quinny, you are so sweet, but also There's a dead bird in your bag, girl. Amory confronts Spider, but he rejects the claims, which Ant backs up. He has a bird phobia. They don't believe, but later Amory and Quinny pounce on Spider with the dead bird, and the bird phobia checks out, and he does even have a scar. Spider's innocent for once. Malachi and Rowan link up at the party. Malachi admires Rowan's soft hands. Ant and Harper have a little yap about why girls find him creepy, and Harper suggests he should just try being friends with the girl without the intention of hooking up. Returning from the party, there's another dead bird on Amory's doorstep. The Chuck allegations are back in full force. To put a stop to all this nonsense, Amory convinces Quinny and Darren to pay Chuck a visit, aka wait until Chuck leaves and then they will enter. However, once inside, Chuck swings back around because he forgot his phone. He catches the trio and just thinks they are pathetic idiots. Yes, he would normally seek revenge, but while his boys are awaiting trial, he's got to keep his nose clean, so he scares them off, except he tells Darren, stay right here. He basically wants to scare Darren and convince them that Cash is not who Darren thinks Cash is. Unfortunately, Chuck does manage to get in Darren's head as Darren bails on going with Nan to visit Cash in prison, even though just one day before, Darren was so excited to finally be able to visit Cash. Woodsy tells Jojo that SLT is being made an elective to appease the masses, and she tells her this while using the confiscated pepper spray gun as salad dressing. Sustainable. Voss is getting the boys to push tires around the field, and he's telling them, come kings, come warriors, come lords. So they choose to call themselves the Come Lords. Comprehensive understanding of masculinity led by older respected dudes, if you're a professional who wants to know. Thanks to Voss's festering in Spider's impressionable brain, he decides he will also run for school captain alongside Sasha, which then inspires Amory to run so she has somewhere to put all her energy instead of just monitoring Harper 24/7, and she would like Quinny to be her vice. The episode ends with Amory receiving a picture of herself with red eyes and the caption, "You don't get to be the hero," signed Bird Psycho. It's not Chuck because the picture was literally just taken in the school hall, and also Harper is not the target. The bag the dead bird was on was a bag Amory lent Harper, and the dead bird outside where Harper is living is in fact Amory's house. Episode 2 opens with a message board of people just hating on Amory. Quinny decides her first role as vice captain will be to unveil Bird Psycho. Now that SLTs is an elective, the Puritans featuring Missy's cousin Zoe have decided to join, and they've booked the sports field for their values relay. The Sea Lords who've gained Rowan are already there, committing vegan hate, blatantly against the rights of Hartley's Jewish and Muslim students by roasting a pig. Sasha just kills me with her delivery of, is it even halal? Jojo decides to take this to Woodsy. The solution to this dispute is a boys versus girls footy match, winner getting pick of the sports spaces. Missy gives some more breadcrumbs about her and Malachi's holiday DMCs, and he's like, yep, just gonna ignore everything we talked about, and we get a cutaway to Rowan. Amory and Malachi go to an escape room after school so she can basically lock him in a room until he believes she's a good person. Malachi spots Rowan through the window, and in Amory's quest to be a good person, she's like, yes, invite Rowan to join us. Rowan and Malachi are having a great time in the escape room while Amory is kind of third wheeling the situation. Rowan subtly drops that he dated a guy before that was really into escape rooms. Elsewhere, Nan confronts Darren about bailing on visiting Cash, and she manages to encourage Darren to come with her to the prison to see Cash. However, what Chuck said has really stuck in Darren's head, which hurts Cash's feelings, obviously, and Cash wraps up the visit. Back at the Wydea household, Harper is applying for legal aid. In Amory's room, her and Malachi are starting to argue. She is trying and failing to seduce him. She thinks the hatred that her sister is loving has convinced Malachi that Amory is a bad person, but he insists he doesn't care about that and he just has other stuff going on. To Amory, it just feels like she's being shut out, and this whole situation ends with Malachi leaving. Quinny has basically a 2-meter long list of Bird Psycho suspects, and she's starting with Sasha. She pops up while Sasha is bringing a bag of rubbish out of her house. This scene is done in black and white and has jazzy detective music. It's a fun moment. Sasha's alibi is that she was at the cinema seeing Cowspiracy. However, Quinny still decides to grab the bag of rubbish so she can go through it for evidence. The next day we have the footy game. Amory tries to confront Malachi again about their tiff, and this somehow leads to him joining the Sea Lords. Ant has oiled himself up in pig's fat. Did he use the roasted oval pig? During the game, Harper is being heckled. I think only half of this is happening. The half The other half is just in her head. This ends up triggering her and she tackles Anthony and just starts pummeling him. Harper is clearly very upset. She doesn't like being treated like she's made of glass. She needs money to get proper clothes for the trial. She needs a car so she doesn't have to take 2 buses across town to get to her lawyer's office. She wants lawyers that don't call her unsympathetic, and she wants somewhere to live so she doesn't have to take up space at Amory's house. Back to the game, we have a glorious scene of Missy bossing it on the field while Black Brittany by Miss Canina plays. I will be front row when you do your first Irish gig. Missy is locked in and she is going for the ball, which, you know, catches Spider's attention, and she sends it into the goalpost, winning the game. In SLTs, Zoe has an agenda to shame and victim blame Harper. Now, JoJo, I like you, but she should have cut this off straight away. Harper ends up storming out of the class and she goes to visit Anthony in the nurse's office. She apologizes for lashing out at him and he's very reasonable about it, so they end up kissing, but Ant stops it because SLT's taught him that when it comes to consent, you have to take in the whole context of the situation, and he can tell Harper might not be in the right headspace right now, so there you go. He's becoming better already. Missy is hitting some weights in the gym and enjoying a meat leg. Is it the roasted oval pig? Spider walks past. He gives her a genuine compliment about her performance in the game, and then he proceeds to just look at her a bit again until she cuts him off. Bye bye. Jog on. Amory decides yet again to confront Malachi. She just wants to communicate and resolve their situation, but he keeps trying to avoid confrontation. He suggests they take it slow, keep it casual, no labels. Amory agrees, not so much because she wants to, more so she just doesn't want to lose him. Quinny is now back on Sasha's case because Cowspiracy came out in 2017. Quinny did also find a receipt in the rubbish she stole for an internet cafe, except the receipt is actually for a Chinese restaurant that Sasha goes to once a year to cheat on her veganism. Amory then finds a scary handwritten note in her locker. Chuck pays a visit to Cash, trying to convince Cash that Darren won't be there for Cash when he is released. But when all is said and done, Chuck will be there for Cash because they're family. Harper admits to Amory that she wants to drop the case. Admitting this to Amory is like a huge weight lifted off of Harper's shoulders. Malachi stages a run-in with Rowan at his job. Some things are said about Wood. Off camera, they talk all night. On camera, the following day. Technically in the next episode, Malachi is now acting weird. Queen Woodsy cannot ethically give Harper a car, clothes, or money, but she will help Harper learn to drive. And Harper also reiterates to Woodsy how she's really glad and happy with her decision to drop the case. Because of the case dropping, Cash is free to leave prison and the episode ends with him being released. Chuck and the gang on one side, Nan and Darren on the other. Who's he gonna choose? Episode 3. Cash has an early morning meeting with Woodsy as he wants to plead his case for returning to school. She cannot let him come back to school. She has a duty of care to the other students and Hartley needs to be a safe space for everyone. Cash is visibly disappointed. Now at school, the Sea Lords are digging a hole as they are going to bury their feelings. This pit has got to be max 30 centimeters. Amory debriefs with Missy and Harper about Malachi. Maybe it's just because he has some other stuff going on. Missy claims she, of course, would not know what that could be. An election fundraising competition is happening. The Sydney Inter-Outer East Women's Association pitch day. Spider propositions Missy and Sasha. What's he gonna get if they lose? Well, he can suck Missy's dick because she's not losing. Done deal. Sasha and Missy are left like, wait, what? Malachi decides to do some communicating with Rowan. Not Amory. Amory and Malachi, they're not together, but they're also not together. Rowan gets it, but he's not trying to be in the middle of all that. Cash is at home with Darude dodging calls from Chuck. He spots a little baggie, decides he should enjoy said baggie, and then he goes and spends the day dancing up a storm. At the fundraising campaign, they get to socializing. Amory meets this one woman who is like, I don't care about the policies, tell me the real gossip. Spider is smoozing up a storm, and Missy decides if he's gonna play dirty, she's gonna play dirty. She manages to sabotage his chat. He in turn sabotages her chat by baiting the woman Missy is speaking with to praise the king, basically. And she declares, Let me check my notes. That whole family are all a bunch of inbred, imperialistic, tax vampire pricks, and the fact that they haven't been abolished yet is a war crime. That's my bestie. She said nothing wrong. Anne-Marie is telling her gossipy lady all about the situation with Malachi, and this woman suggests that Malachi might be gay. We get a nice scene of Malachi confiding in Darren. He might like Rowan. He doesn't think he's gay, and he does really care about Anne-Marie, but he's feeling confused, trapped, and frustrated. After Cash's dance session, Chuck pays a home visit. Cash manages to hide by the window. Anne-Marie decides the best course of action in figuring out what is up with Malachi is for her and Quinny to go to the feelings pit. So she's rooting around in that loose dirt. She finds a confession that says forget Anne-Marie. Cash shows up at Darren's work to say hello, but there's awkward vibes as Harper is there. Harper and Cash end up talking. Cash is apologizing for everything. See season 1 kidnapping. Harper then inquires about Cash coming back to school. He has already requested and been denied. We end up in Missy's room. She gets caught in a spider web and out comes a big spider in the form of Spider. Dream Missy kisses Dream Spider. Actual Missy wakes up quite sickened to find she seems to have liked the dream. So as soon as Missy gets to SLTs, she's gonna get to the bottom of this dream. What if something starts as a fantasy and then all you can do is think about it a lot and then suddenly becomes something you want to do in real life because you feel like it's already happened before, and then all you can do is just think about it until it's something that you never ever want to think about again. Chuck is back on the home visits. He punches Cash in the stomach and demands to know when he's going to be coming back. Hero Woodsy happens to appear at just the right moment and she sprays Chuck with the garden hose. Woodsy is there to bring Cash back to school. Harper really rallied for Cash, insisted Woodsy shouldn't let Cash slip through the cracks. Spider has won the election donation competition, so he approaches Missy to ask when she's going to make good on their bet. Get effed. Where and when exactly should he be doing that? He's gonna see her there. We get a cute Darren and Cash school reunion and we see Woodsy just looking pleased as punch about the whole thing. But this cannot last long as someone has gone to the feelings pit, dug up all the feelings and resurrected them as little tombstones. Evening arts and crafts. Spider thinks it was the SLTs and conveniently there is a framed photo of Anne-Marie instead of Matt. She is pit. Anne-Marie and Malachi come to blows once again. This time he is finally honest with her. He's not gay, but he is bi and he does really care about her, but she can just forget about it now. Bird Psycho has now sabotaged Anne-Marie's campaign, destroyed her relationship with Malachi, and ruined her life, so she wants to find out who this is for real. For real. We end the episode with Rowan and Malachi together. Malachi and Anne-Marie are not just 100% over, they are 1000% over. And these two boys, they're hungry for each other. Episode 4. This is a fun one as we're going to camp. We see Malachi and Rowan looking cozy together. Anne-Marie is happy for them. On the bus, Sasha is giving out customized condoms with her face on them to promote safe sex. Spider takes this opportunity to ask Missy why she, a lesbian, would need condoms. Not that it's any of his business, but she's actually bisexual, so you just know Spider cheered for that. We have Anne-Marie, Quinny, and Harper bunking together, which is great for Bird Psycho research purposes. Quinny is making a voice recording of all their just ideas and they're brainstorming basically. Because of a dead possum, Zoe is gonna have to bunk with them as well. That night there is an alcohol-filled party in the girls' cabin. They're playing Never Have I Ever. Spider sees that Missy has given a beat. That should be me, he's thinking. Cash has done A, which makes Darren think, hold on, so it is just me he doesn't want to have sex with. Missy then does a Never Have I Ever Had sex with someone I'm in love with. Her and Sasha cheers it up. Anne-Marie is looking at Malachi. She decides to drink and then he also drinks. The party gets busted by Jojo, so Missy is in the bathroom to do her skincare routine. And who also comes to the bathroom? Spider. Mr. Spider has never heard of moisturizer, which Missy believes is because he's a Parmesan face. That hurts, so she offers Spider some moisturizer. He starts slapping that thing on and Missy is like, no, dummy. So she scoots him down and starts massaging the moisturizer onto his face. He is just like ooh and staring at her the whole time until she snaps out of it, realizes what is happening, what she's doing. Cash goes to Darren for cuddle time. Darren is upset, but then they start kissing. Cash goes to take it a step further to give Darren what they want. Darren is like, what are you doing? What do you want? Forget it. let's just go sleep. In the girls' cabin, Zoe is pottering around, rooting through the bags, and Zoe says she's just looking at her bag, but Quinny says, your bag is over there. Bird psycho antics, perhaps? In the morning, it's time for some guided meditation, and Quinny cannot find her phone. This is because Bird Psycho has stolen her phone, and then they manage to connect the phone to the speaker for the guided meditation and play the brainstorming voice memo, them just insulting everybody. Ant is way too stupid to do it. Sasha is desperate AF, and Missy just does whatever Sasha tells her to. And then Malachi is the guy who gaslit Amory into thinking she wanted an open relationship while he figured out if he liked guys or not. Voss thinks the students will be better served by blindfoldedly going into the middle of the woods, being left there, and then having to find their way back to camp. And everyone blames Amory, of course, for having to do this. So once again, boo Amory. After trekking for a bit, they decide to take a break, and Sasha is all for this. Her feet are killing her, she's tired, and she doesn't have her Invisalign, so her teeth are gonna get all janky. Cash tries to have a conversation with Darren about last night, as Cash is feeling rejected, but Darren is just feeling pitied. This conversation gets wrapped up pretty quick because Darren stumbles upon some magic mushrooms. Everyone except for Quinny takes these mushrooms. Quinny and Amory confront Zoe about her nighttime sneaking around. She wasn't being bird psycho, she was just paddling the pink canoe, popping the hood, visiting the Bat Cave, auditioning the finger puppets, DJing the VJ, flicking through some literature, buttering her crumpet. This girl is a poet, and the reason she was rooting through the bags is because she was on the hunt for Amory's. Missy has gone off on her own from their group, and Spider follows her because he doesn't want her to be alone. Maybe she wanted to be alone. If that's true, then tell him to go, and he'll go. And then he whispers, come on, tell me. She folds. He should be the one to go downstairs, and he does. Malachi is kissing Rowan, but he's hallucinating that he's with Amory, so when he says Amory, Rowan, oh, he's fuming, and he storms off. Down by the water, Cash and Darren do some communicating. Cash wants to find a way that works for both of them because Darren has only ever made him feel comfortable. Darren allows Cash to be himself, and Darren is Cash's soulmate. It's very sweet. Cash then leads and tells Darren what he wants, and that seems to work for them. The next morning, Quinny is woken by her phone's alarm, so if she can just find which bag her phone is in, we have Bird Psycho. She's getting closer to the bags, but then boom, she gets bitten by a snake. Harper wakes up resting on Ant's lap, citing best sleep of her life. He agrees. Missy walks past Spider, they share a little smile, and Zoe unfortunately has to set her celibacy tracker back to 0. The gang is wondering where Quinny is, and they find her on the ground. Amory goes boss mode. Get that ankle binded. Everyone pick her up. Missy, guide us back to the camp. They manage to navigate down the forest mountain thing, and they meet Jojo and a rescue team, and just as they do, Quinny's vision fades to black. End of episode. Episode 5 opens very dramatically with Quinny being treated in the back of an ambulance. Darren and Amory go to visit Quinny at home, and they've brought her a card that the whole year group has signed, and Quinny is thinking, score, we can check handwriting. That's not really why we did that. SLTs and Sea Lords are going to be suspended until the end of term in response to the coincident. Rowan understands that Malachi is figuring himself out, but he does not want to be collateral damage. Bestie Missy notices his sadness, and she will be checking up later. Spider then swings by, offers the girls some custom Sea Lord merch. Missy's asking, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm sure you can think of something. What she thinks of, using the t-shirt as a seat cover in her car, while Spider goes downstairs again. Missy is satisfied, so now it's Spider's turn. He just likes making Missy feel good. Age reveal, Cash is 18, so she thinks it would be an amazing idea if the 3 of them move out together. Darren also thinks this is, yes, an amazing idea. However, Cash does not think this is a good idea. Harper straight away is like, yeah, cool, no worries. Amory gate crashes the student film club to find an oily face friend to help her with a campaign video. Tomato, tomato. So Amory boots up a computer in the corner to work on a video through the medium of PowerPoint presentation. This endears film club member Rowan. He will be willing to play dirty in this campaign. Quinny comes storming to school in her pajamas. She is just desperate for an update on where her phone is. Sasha is probing Missy, but Missy does not reveal who exactly she is seeing. No, she doesn't like them, they're just hooking up. Ew, no, he does not hold her. But she is curious to know Sasha's opinion on the fact that he just goes down and doesn't seem to want anything in return. Sasha thinks this is amazing. Sasha then has to go to class, so she throws her bubble tea cup in the general direction of the bin, but it bounces out of there and lands on the ground. Conveniently, Rowan and Amory managed to record this, and then Rowan is going to go undercover to get some incriminating footage of the Sea Lords. Rowan tells Amory how he broke up with Malachi, but no worries, Malachi took it so well. Cut to Malachi in bed sobbing. Amory and Rowan are chit-chatting while working on her campaign video, and Rowan says he's waiting for his Pete and Ellie moment, and both me and Amory are like, Rowan insists they must watch this movie, but oh no, they've run out of time for the campaign video. Amory can just come to Rowan's house tomorrow to finish the video. Darren, Cash, Harper and Amory have a little meetup to discuss doing a fun day for Quinny to show there's more to life than this bird psycho stuff. Gotta take this call from Nan, so he steps outside. Harper follows him outside. Is it me? Is that why Cash doesn't want to move in? That's not it, he's just not ready to do that. Missy goes to check in with bestie Malachi. Malachi thought being with a guy would be easier, but that was not the case. Missy wants a male opinion on her situation. Malachi thinks this is pretty sus. Maybe he has another woman. Maybe he's bent. Maybe he has an infection. Or maybe he's just not that sure about her. Well, maybe Rowan's not that sure about you. Yeah, that's actually why we're here. This little chat inspires both Missy and Malachi. Malachi ends up going to Amory's house to find out why he was a shit boyfriend, and Missy decides to put on her best lingerie and trench coat combo and rock up to Spider's house. He doesn't get to be unsure about her. She's the one who's unsure about him. Opens coat. Who's your friend, Spencer? Close coat. Spider's mother, Kate. She wants Missy to join them for lunch. Missy was raised with manners, so she's gonna stay for lunch because she does not want to be rude. Amory runs through her list of 10 reasons why Malachi was a shit boyfriend. Amory can see Malachi's feeling glum, so she also offers up some reasons why he's a good person, and Malachi takes this as a cue to kiss her, and she is like, whoa. Amory is also dressed as a frog this whole time as they are headed to the zoo for Quinny's day of fun, and it also actually happens to be her birthday. Amory fills the gang in on Malachi trying to kiss her, and we again see Quinny is struggling to keep up with the convo and all this new information. She's also kind of getting left behind as they're moving from animal to animal. Interestingly, Cash is actually the first person to notice this. Quinny says she feels like everything is wrong and weird. No, they're just pissy with me because I wouldn't move in with them. Yous are moving out? No. Quinny is then having a moment to herself when the gang approach with a frog cake and they give her a gift of a phone. This immediately turns her mood around. She is so happy to have her phone. That's not her phone. They bought her a new phone and they even DIY'd a replica of her phone case. It wasn't about having a phone, it was her phone with the evidence for bird psycho. Quinny says she does not want to be a burden, but she's never given any time or warning to prepare, and bird psycho was the one thing she could control, she could contribute, she was good at, and now she's being told she's also doing that wrong and to stop doing that. She runs off crying. Darren follows her and they don't really know what to do about this situation. Quinny wants things to just slow down, and Darren says the world can't always play by Quinny's rules. She has spent her entire life playing by their rules, pretending they make sense when they absolutely do not. Okay, well then stop trying. No one's asking you to do that. And Darren realizes what they've said and tries to correct themselves, but it's too late. No more masking, pretending, or worrying she's too much for people. Now on, she's gonna just look out for number one, herself. This is a very upsetting scene because of course we do not like when besties fight, but we get this gorgeous scenic view. Whew, makes everything okay for a second. Back in the spider web, aka Spider's home, lunch is beginning. Missy is now wearing a Sea Lords t-shirt instead of her lingerie, and Kate is making comments about stupid shirt, stupid idea, stupid policies. Missy and Kate are then lolling about the Sea Lords, downing some red wine. Spider hits her with the, yeah, go ahead, drink more wine. But he says it in French. Missy is just as surprised as we are. Kate, unfortunately, she really wanted a girl, and then she was disappointed again when it was clear there was not a queer bone in Spider's body. But I often have this nightmare that the police come to her door and tell her Spider has done something unforgivable to a girl. The whole time Spider is in the open kitchen drying dishes and he can hear her speaking about him this way, and I'm sure it's not the first time. Spider still thanks her for lunch and takes Missy upstairs. She understands that would be really hard not to react to, but he always has a choice in the type of guy he wants to be. And then they just do some little soft looking at each other. Missy decides, I'm not leaving. I'm getting an answer to my question. So she asks, why don't you want to me? Is it her? Does she run her mouth too much? Because she hasn't been with many guys. Spider is quick to be like, no. It is not you. It is not you at all. He can't get it up. That's okay, we can still try if you want to. She's not going to judge him. I think that's just going to be embarrassing for the both of us. And Missy can clearly tell this is a sensitive topic for him. I've got nowhere else to be. Maybe we could watch a movie. And then we get this tiny scene. of Missy asking if he has a laptop, and she basically bounces up the bed with joy, and they're just both giggling, and it's so cute. Family dinner now with Cash, Nan and Roger, who just so happens to have a warehouse just in case somebody was thinking about moving out. Nan is confused why this wouldn't be something Cash would want. Is he okay? I'm fine, I'm good, everything. Boom! Brick smashes through the window. Chuck and the Eshays work. Cash is furious, but Chuck, he is desperate for Cash to come back as he really needed that school connect. Anne-Marie goes to Rowan's house as they had planned to finish the campaign video, and she finds his sand animation. Rowan is showing Anne-Marie how to do sand animation, and then they have an almost kiss moment. We then have a Quinny voiceover while she dismantles her bird psycho wall. We get a scene of Spider and Missy. She has fallen asleep on him. Does he hold you in his arms? Malachi's parents have some big news to break. Cash goes to the diner to tell Darren and Harper that let's actually move in together. We see Rowan open a drawer to get a notebook out. He has Quinny's phone, and in the notebook he's scribbling, "Forget Anne-Marie." That was his feelings pit feeling. Episode 6 begins with Anne-Marie's campaign video. They slayed that. "Come on, Hartley, let me make it up to you." And then we see it's just Rowan watching over and over again. "Let me make it up to you. Let me make it up to you." The gang go to visit the new house, and Darren smells a smell, which they follow to a drawer, and with their bare hand pick up a molded slice of deli meat. You didn't have to do that. We have some really fun transitions in this episode as Darren throws the molded deli slice of meat at a window. Harper then pops up through the window. Darren and Cash, they start smooching, and Darren goes to unzip. Whoa, he's not going to want to do that every single time. So let's discuss the housewarming party. Cash won't be at it because he has to help Roger. Okay, well, where will we put the bed? Over here or maybe over there? Another fun transition to right there. Missy is clothes off, legs open. Spider's sorry that they can't do more. I'm enjoying myself plenty. There's only really an issue if you're not getting what you need. She suggests, they could try some other stuff. She could tie him up. She could dance for him. She's got some pretty deadly moves. Height difference check. She goes to do a little drop, and oh my goodness, she toots. Spider laughs, but sorry, he didn't mean to. They're just both making involuntary sounds. He's gonna have to force one out. They're laughing about his pathetic fart. What's wrong? That is so messed up. He knows, but does she want it? Approximately 3 minutes go past on the clock, and everyone is satisfied. Missy wants to snap a pic to commemorate his big moment. Cute. But I actually better delete this, because imagine if someone sees this, she'll text him next time she needs to let one rip. At school, we have a poll update. Spencer is in the lead, Anne-Marie is following, and Sasha is really flopping. In the library, Missy is looking at an atlas to locate Switzerland. They're moving to Switzerland. He can't find many reasons right now to stay. Malachi can either fly out with his mom on the day of the school formal, or he can wait a year and then fly out with the father. Anne-Marie is inviting Rowan to the cinema. Malachi swings by. It's very awkward vibes. Malachi and Anne-Marie really want them all to be friends and get along. Rowan is just kind of forced to be on board with this. Spider is watching Missy while Voss is droning on. Spider gives a little wave to Missy. I didn't see that. Quinny then joins Anne-Marie and Darren on the bench, but she doesn't really engage with them. I'm so excited to see you at the housewarming. My room is going to be the designated quiet place if you need it. Yeah, don't know. I'll have to let you know if I feel like it. Darren is quite upset by this. The whole day is having bad juju, which is true because Cash is actually not with Roger. He is with Chuck, but they're just going to do one final job and then Chuck is going to let Cash go. Harper gets Ant to keep watch while she raids the art room for supplies for a little art project she's cooking up at the housewarming. Ant has a housewarming gift for Harper. It's a little box he made in woodshop. That's so sweet. But then she just sort of flings it aside and gets back to rooting in the cupboard. I think that hurt Ant's feelings just a bit. Rowan brings Anne-Marie on a shortcut to the cinema past this old skate park. I used to come here all the time when me and Harper were young. She tells Rowan a fun story of how when they were younger, one of the girls decided to take their jumpers, throw it in the urinal so all the boys could pee on it. That is messed up. You can't just do bad things and change. You need to be taught a lesson. She tries to make it light again, but Rowan, his mood has been ruined. Forget the movie. See you at the party though, maybe. Darren has sent Cash about 5 messages but no reply, so they're starting to get worried. I'm sure he's just stuck listening to Roger drone on. We know that's not the case. He's actually in the woods with Chuck. They're looking for a boat. They then get in the boat and sail to a certain spot. Cash starts pulling something up. The whole time he keeps glancing over his shoulder to keep an eye on Chuck. Up come the goodies. It's time to go home. We've completed our job, but oh no, the engine's not working. It's housewarming party time. Anne-Marie and Malachi have a little chat. It would really suck if they couldn't still be friends. Missy approaches the drink table where Spider happens happens to be, you're avoiding me, just giving you a chance to miss me. It's working. So he goes to put his hand on Missy's waist. Not here, not here. But she does tell him to meet her downstairs later. It does make me feel bad for him, but then also he's in a prison of his own making. Quinny does decide to show up to the party, and she's actually just here to get really drunk and not worry about being too much for anyone. Darren is saying, please, I actually really need my jellyfish right now, and we can see Quinny hesitate a bit, but then she ultimately decides you should find healthier ways of coping, and she goes to dance on a table. Back on the lake now, Cash is just at his wits end. This was supposed to be one simple job, and now he's missing the house party. You have somewhere to be, and then he calls Darren a slur. Cash pounces on him, whips out his switchblade he had in his pocket just in case. Chuck is saying he just wants his old Cash back. Chuck actually made sure Cash made it out of the group home he was in, and Chuck was the one who gave Cash his name, as on all Cash's forms he saw child of an addict, self-harm, and that is how he got his name. Chuck just wants some loving, and he wants Cash to remember they're family. No matter what Chuck says, he's not going to convince Cash. He would rather be dead than go back. And then he just turns back on the engine. It was all a ruse. Rowan arrives at the party keen to talk with Amory. He's sorry about what happened at the skate park. Someone did something shitty to his brother. They were never held accountable for it, and they just kept doing shitty things. Amory gets it and they kiss. But Malachi happens to see this kiss. Spider and Ant then have a little chit chat about their girl troubles. Ant has been trying to prove he can be friends with a girl without wanting to hook up, but he messed up by then catching feelings for that girl. And Spider may be starting to see the light. Why don't we lay it all on the line and just tell them how we feel? And they're both like, yeah, radical honesty, which is great timing because Spider happens to spot Missy coming down the stairs for their meeting. He has wanted to kiss her all night, all day at school. He wants to do better. She makes him want to do better. If he could change, could Missy see herself being with someone like him? I'll believe it when I see it. They can now do the kissing that he wanted to do all day. And speaking of kissing, Amory wants her kiss with Rowan to happen again. They should tell Malachi. Chuck has dropped Cash back home and they say their final goodbyes, and then he noisily drives away, but also slowly so everyone can see. Darren, ooh, not happy, not happy, not happy. Harper looks absolutely terrified. Cash follows Darren inside, and Darren is quickly packing a bag and just does not want to hear it. So they leave. Back at home, Rowan throws his cursed little forget Amory notebook in the bin. Missy is sitting on a curb just looking at her selfie she took with Spider. She did not delete it. Spider is in his room starting to rip down all his posters. Darren goes looking for Jacob. Briefly in season 1, an ex-fling, I guess, an ex-lover. They do not find Jacob, but they run into Menace Dusty. Amory is in her room just enjoying a mental recap of what happened that night when her sister comes in. Her sister shows that she has period staining on her pajamas, and Amory just immediately puts on her big sister hat. Do I have to deal with this every month? Which then makes her think, well, I haven't dealt with this month. She checks her tracker. 48 days. It's not good. Episode 7, abortion pill is acquired. Malachi is at home packing. Amory shows up to tell him about the pregnancy of it all. You do whatever you want to do. Just leave me out of your drama. Darren leaves Dusty's. Amory and Harper decide on the code name Little Feets for the fetus. Amory wants it out of her ASAP so she can get on with her life. She's going to take the first pill now so she can do the school captain debate tomorrow. Amory will rain check on her date with Rowan, as it doesn't feel right to hook up with another guy's seed in her. Rowan is fuming, tosses his phone across the room. It smashes a picture frame and terrifies little brother Jet. Amory sees that Rowan has read the message but not replied, so she thinks the only appropriate thing to do is to send a sixy, that's sick and sexy, picture to Rowan. Missy and Spider are stroking each other. He is actively listening to her yap about mythology. Remember, it's sick. Speaking of tragic, where are all his posters gone? You can't just take down some posters and be a different person. That's why I also donated to charity. The box in the admin office. The one that you get a chocolate for a gold coin donation. And I saved you the chocolate. Harper is cleaning up after the housewarming party, and Cash is asking her to yell at her or something that will make him feel better, not her. And then Darren appears. Cash wants to talk about what happened, and Darren is just like, no. It's fine, it's cool. On the way to school, Darren is telling Amory that they are there for her, whatever she needs today. Honestly, no big deal. Poll update now. The Sea Lords, Spider, have taken a hit, and they are now neck and neck with Amory. Amory wants to ditch first period so her and Quinny can prep for the debate. Quinny doesn't want to do that. Amory also reveals she has not told Quinny about Little Feets. Rowan meets up with Amory and tries to reschedule their date. Sore tummy, can't be going on rides, but definitely defo this weekend. Spider pops up in Jojo's classroom, and no, he's not lost. He actually wants some advice from someone he respects. He wants to change. It's easy to say these things, but it actually requires some meaningful action. This convo, yeah, it does help Spider, so thank you, Jojo. Cash wants Darren to know that Darude's birthday, 2207, is the passcode to his phone. Darren is not interested in doing that, and Darren reveals they actually were not at Bum's yesterday. They were looking for Jacob and ended up at Dusty's. And what would have happened if Darren had found Jacob? Spider slides up to Sasha in the science lab to let her know he'll be dropping out of the race. Sasha is not going to argue, but damn, Spider has been acting so weird lately. She's put 2 and 2 together. She knows who Missy's mystery man is. Missy reveals her and Spider have been going on for a month, maybe 2. Missy accuses Sasha of not understanding. No one will understand this. The fact that Missy has hidden this means on some level Missy knows that too. Anne-Marie is so ready for the debate, but then she starts cramping. Malachi stumbles upon her while she's outside in pain. Get Harper. Spider saunters up to Missy. Did you talk to Sasha? You heard I'm dropping out of the race. He's doing it for her. That's not how this works. You need to do it because you believe in it, not because you're hooking up with someone. It's done. And she storms off. Anne-Marie has made it to Harper's place, and she's also just really upset that she's missing the debate. So they kind of need Quinny, but she's like, Malachi finds out that the seed they are extracting is actually his. She's scared she's gonna die, and Malachi is there just comforting her and reassuring her. Quinny is also not interested in answering a single question. And then Spencer unfortunately goes on a misogynistic rampage type thing. It completely undermines the nice scene we saw where he was trying to make a change by going to Jojo. Woodsy tells him to tone it down, but honestly, cut the mic. Missy just fully walks out during this speech. Quinny then speaks up and accuses Sasha and Spider of both just running for themselves. They actually don't care about the student body. Then she starts pointing to random people in the crowd. Name this person, name this person. Sasha cannot name them. Spider at least knows the nickname. Quinny seems to know everything about anyone. She is one for the people, so everyone cheers and claps for her. Checking back in with Amory, the trio are recouping together, and Amory gives Malachi a little paper crane. It's tiny, it's cute. He likes it. Cash goes to Dusty's boarding place to confront him. Dusty doesn't know why Cash would think something would happen between Dusty and Darren. See season 1. Dusty basically reveals to Cash that the way Darren and Cash are working is actually only working for Cash, and Darren is really struggling with this. Anne-Marie and Malachi share a thank you for being there for me hug. Rowan, who happens to be lurking in the bushes, he sees this. Next day at school, Amory catches up with Rowan and he ends up spilling his bag and a lot of papers spill out. The results are now in and Quinny has won. Voss is infuriated. He throws a little lamington cake square at Woodsy's head. Food fight! Amory grabs Rowan and takes him under a table. She is really into him and she does want to go on a date. Spider and Missy end up back to back. They turn around, both ready to launch cake at each other, but they're hesitating and they don't really want to throw cake at each other. Sasha pops up like, hate to say I told you so. Woodsy brings Voss into her office and Voss is ranting. Woodsy in turn makes some jibe at the fact that Voss is wearing lycra and he tells her, oh, don't be a It's Dunzo. He has 20 minutes to pack up and get off school property. Cash and Darren, but mainly Cash, make the unfortunate decision that they're gonna break up. Cash simply cannot give Darren what they need or want. Darren says if X is killing the relationship, they will kill X, but Cash doesn't want them to have to do that. Quinny, Amory and Woodsy are discussing how they can move forward. Amory says if she doesn't give the people what they want, that will be a pretty shitty thing to do. So Quinny will be school captain. Amory congratulates Quinny, and then Amory finally reveals she missed the debate yesterday because she was having an abortion. Darren decides they will join the Puritans to help them not wanted and then hopefully be with Cash again. Sasha is cleaning up after the food fight when she spots inside the bin the papers that Rowan actually dropped at the start of the episode. Rowan follows Malachi home from school. He should stay away or he's gonna find out what Rowan is capable of. Episode 8, we have finally completed the 2-month jump, and yes, the school is on fire. Just before that, we're inside decorating the hall for the formal. Harper has passed her driving test, pretty much all thanks to Woodsy. It's a very cute scene. Malachi isn't sure whether to tell Amory about Rowan being scary. Just leave her alone. Like, why can't you leave it alone? And then he blurts out, because I love her. Please, just let her enjoy formal while she's happy. Darren is doing arts and crafts with the Puritans in prep for the formal, learning how to not want it. Sasha goes to Quinny's house to tell Quinny about the paper she found in the bin. Quinny is just perplexed. This is obviously a picture that Amory sent to Malachi or Rowan. And side note, oh my goodness, they have such beautiful eye makeup looks in this scene. Spider and Ant are watching some live stream video thing of Voss. Malachi then goes to Amory to check in and see how she's doing. He wants Amory bad. but instead he just hits her with a very casual bye-bye, see ya, obviously not realizing this is a bye, I'm leaving for an intercontinental move. He does actually write her a proper goodbye letter and slips it into her locker. Rowan is anxiously waiting for Amory to arrive. Amory pulls up looking so good. Everyone is looking good at the formal. Missy is watching Spider dance. She grabs Jojo as she passes. Men are all fucked. While everyone is not capable of change, if we start believing nobody is, Missy looking over at Spider, and I don't know, we don't see, but I think Jojo might be putting two and two together in that moment. Ant and Darren actually have a quick chat. Ant should just tell Harper how he feels. Cash is at home giving himself a broken heart tattoo. Nan bursts in. You are going to formal. She just wants a photo of him in his suit. At the formal, it's nutbush time. We've now swapped places and Spider can watch Missy dance. The music transitions to a slow song, and Harper start slow dancing together. Ant tells Harper that unfortunately he failed at being friends with the girl without them wanting to hook up. It's fine, we're just mates, but he does go off. The Sea Lords then all receive a mass text to assemble on the Oval. The woke world has its claws out for the boys. He saw it happen to his father, and in this moment I do think Spider is seeing the light once more. Maybe your dad was just a dick, which causes Voss to slap Spider across the face. In the bathroom, Amory reveals to Harper that she did always imagine formal being her and Malachi, but Rowan is a sweetheart. Missy pops up, forget him, he didn't even tell you that he was leaving. What? Who? Where? Missy drops the bomb that Malachi has moved to Switzerland. How could he not tell me? And Harper says, I think he might have been trying to tell you. Harper reveals the whole Malachi said he loved her and she told Malachi to leave her alone. Amory is in shambles. She can't believe Harper made that decision for her. And yes, she loves him. She never stopped, actually. Unfortunately, Rowan overhears that part, so he storms off. Quinny and Sasha pull up to Rowan's shed. Quinny finds her phone. Bird Psycho is Rowan. Cash then arrives at formal looking so good, and then he spots Darren at the Puritines. This is not you. Spider then charges the stage to grab the mic, and he knows he's been a prick to pretty much every one of them, but he's trying to apologize, okay? He's looking directly at Missy. Let's get some quotes. He up, but he wants to be better. He needs to do this for himself. He knows you're probably never going to want to speak to him again, and he completely understands why. He just hopes he can be worthy of your respect one day. He's saying you, he means Missy. But we gotta wrap that cute moment up. Miss Oi Diva appears for her second appearance of season 2. Oi, there's a bunch of Ned Kellys on the Oval. What are you doing? I can't even hear you. There's a bin on your head. Spider and Ant are not standing with Voss. They need to leave or she's gonna call the police. Puts his fire stick to the ground and it starts drawing out a giant penis. Is there supposed to be a third? The fire is actually spreading towards the school. We have a little explosion. Harper has run after Amory, who has run after Rowan. They're not aware of the fire. Rowan has managed to trap the two of them in a room so he can stream his sand animation for them. Rowan used to watch Amory at the skate park because he had a big crush on her. A bird fell from a tree and Amory and Rowan tended to the bird. Unfortunately, the bird dies, so Rowan and Amory are gonna have a funeral for the bird, but the other kids notice and start laughing at them. She's so embarrassed and she joins in laughing with the kids. Rowan is so upset by this, throwing things around, scaring his little brother. His brother decides to get their parents, who are across the road at a barbecue. He does not see the car. He actually dies. Harper says she smells smoke. Amory is pleading with Rowan. What can she do to fix this? He wants to believe she's sorry, which she is sorry. He wants Amory to be sorry for killing his brother. Whose fault is it then? Thinking it was his own fault, because then he just slowly slides down the wall and stops the communication. Everyone else has managed to make it out of the school when Quinny and Sasha pull up. Woodsy is asking, has anyone seen Harper and Amory? Blah, blah, blah. And I guess Rowan too. Anyone seen him? Quinny makes a mad dash for the building. Cash grabs Darren as Darren is trying to make a mad dash for Quinny. She bursts down the door. She sees Rowan and she's like, where are they? Amory is telling Rowan they have to go, but he is not responsive. Amory goes most of the way down the corridor. Do you have her? I'm going back for Rowan. His brother loved him and his brother knows that Rowan loved him. He sees his brother one last time and lets go of his hand. It's actually very sad, but also Rowan is a menace. I can't be too sad. Thankfully, everyone makes it out of the school. We did not need loss of life. Voss is arrested. Needed. Quinny, Darren and Amory make up. Quinny doesn't think she knows who she is anymore. She will find out, but she doesn't want to lose Darren in the process. Rowan admits that Amory is not the villain. It was just easy for him to believe that. He apologizes to her. Harper has received enough oxygen, so she approaches Ant so they can finish their dance from earlier. Quinny suggests her and Sasha will be good together as my vice captain. Darren approaches Cash and they kiss. We're back on, maybe? Missy then struts up to Spider. He takes her hand. We're in public. She's glad he's not dead. Then I'd never find out if you're capable of shutting the fuck up. They have some giggles and go back to their number one hobby of staring at each other. Woodsy is saying to Jojo, depending on what classrooms are left, she would really love Jojo to continue to host, teach, lead the SLTs. She could change it up so there's something in it for everyone. Amory is looking up at the sky thinking of Malachi. He's thinking of her and he is tearing up with the tiny crane Amory gave him. And then we see his letter to Amory is in her locker, burning. No one has any idea of what happens now. And that wraps up season 2. Just gorgeous, immaculate. Need season 3 today.